Now, the scene we're going to show you right now is taking place in Turkey because it seems, according to Turkish intelligence officials, that the country has coordinated a 26-person prisoner swap. Now, the swap reportedly involves the United States, Russia, and a number of European countries, and has reportedly led to the release of Canadian Paul Whelan as well as American reporter Evan Gershkovich. Now, many of these details have not been officially confirmed at this point, but there are a number of reports, people speaking on condition of anonymity, who are coming forward to say this major prisoner swap is taking place. Now, some of the reports that are coming through are saying that the Russians were interested in getting a key figure released on their end, Vladimir Karashkov. And for that one individual who allegedly killed a Chechen rebel leader in Germany, they were willing to let go of several individuals, including Vladimir Kara-Murza, who's on your screen right now. This is a prominent journalist in Russia who has been detained since 2020. He might be one of the people who's been released and freed today. But let's get to further details and how this is unfolding in the European perspective. We're turning to Dominic Velitis, who's standing by in Riga, Latvia. Dominic, what more can you tell us? The details have been confirmed about this prisoner swap.
Well, as you say, Natasha, we've principally been hearing from Turkey, which is said to be facilitating this prisoner swap. And it is saying that in total, as you mentioned there, 26 prisoners held in Russia, the United States, and 6 other countries are involved. Among them, of course, Evan Gershkovich, the Wall Street Journal reporter, who you will remember, Natasha, was sentenced to 16 years in jail last month on charges of espionage, charges that he denies. But as you've also mentioned there, Natasha, also set to be released, we are told, is the Canadian citizen and former United States Marine Paul Whelan, who was also sentenced to 16 years in jail back in 2020, again on charges of espionage, again charges which he denies. But others, we are told, who are expected to be released today include the Russian opposition politician Ilya Yashin, the veteran human rights campaigner Oleg Orlov, and several other prominent critics of Vladimir Putin. Meanwhile, Natasha, it is, of course, a prisoner swap and exchange, which means that the Russians are getting some of their people back. And we're told that 8 Russian nationals are expected to be returned to Russia as part of this exchange, including several with suspected ties to Russian intelligence. And among those, as you mentioned a short while ago, was that notorious hitman who is currently serving time in Germany for murder. Natasha.
What can you tell us about the significance of what is taking place today?
Well, Natasha, I think the first thing to say here is to pass comment really on the size of this prisoner exchange. It is large. It's a large-scale prisoner exchange. As I say, 26 people in total are set to be released later. And that is the biggest prisoner exchange since the Cold War. Indeed, I think you've got to go back to 2010 to find anything of comparable size. Back then, only 14 people were released. But what else is notable about this, Natasha, is that these exchanges are normally and typically shrouded with total secrecy. But in recent days, media reports in both the United States and in Russia have suggested something was afoot, something was about to take place. We heard that high-profile prisoners, including the Canadian Paul Whelan, were recently and unexpectedly moved from their prisons, while several Russian government official planes were spotted flying to and from regions where prisons are based, which hold dissidents were located. So there were plenty of signs over the last 24, 48 hours or so that something was afoot, something was about to happen. It has now been confirmed, I must stress, by Turkey, that 26 prisoners are set to be released as part of this exchange. Among them, the Wall Street Journal reporter Evan Gershkovich and the Canadian citizen, former U.S. Marine Paul Whelan. Natasha.